They just don't care. They don't value it. And that's always been it for me, because I know how hard I've worked for something, so I value that thing that I have been able to obtain for myself. But it's a trap. It's a trap. But it's a trap because it still holds you in this idea that you have to work to achieve it, and you have to work to deserve something. So if you're still holding on to this idea that you don't deserve it because you haven't done A, B, C, or D, that's BS. That's my point. You have to deprogram yourself. You deserve it because you are source. Stop telling yourself that you're a source player. Just tell yourself that you're source. Because your subconscious doesn't, to me, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is just me. I'm not saying I am a powerful source player. I am source. I am source. That is what I tell myself. That means I can have whatever I want. And that is the whole point of what Judy has been telling you from get-go. First of all, that you are the very creator of this game. And that means you are a creator. That means, therefore, you can think it, you can have it. You don't become undeserving because you haven't done A, B, C, or D. You have to let that go. And you have to let that go in your subconscious. You can't let that go in your awake conscious thoughts, because the subconscious, if it's programmed to think you don't deserve it, it's always going to work against you. So that's it. So I also had to, now the video that she has done, those hypnosis videos that she has put out for you, they are fantastic. They are fantastic starting points. But you also have to consider, okay, like it's a 20-minute video, the unforgiveness, that's number 2, hypnosis. It's a 20-minute video, a 20-minute hypnosis, right? Is it enough time for you to get all the resentment, all of the unforgiveness? Because I had to really, like, you might have to do that several times, and you may have to, do it many times to get in there, because you might think that you have covered all the things that you're resentful or unforgiving of, but that's it. Like, you have to recognize that resentment is the sister to unforgiveness, okay? So, again, I resent beautiful women who are given everything and then they behave badly. Like I said, like the Amber Heards and the Blake Lively's, like they're just repugnant women to me, because like you've been given every opportunity in life and you're still a spoiled, rotten, whatever. Okay, like that was my opinion of them, and that was a judgment. So that's where, like you have these resentments, you have these judgments on people, because you're like, you've been given such an unfair advantage of things that I would value so deeply had I been given them, and you are just proving to be that epitome of that spoiled person, that individual rotten person. So that for me was something to really like address. And those spoiled rotten children, like my niece, like other people that I've seen through my life, these rotten kids that I used to see driving through Rye with all your expensive cars and their mommy and daddies giving them everything. That was a big thing for me. It's a deep resentment. Like, why should you get it? Why should you get it? Because of the family I grew up in, right? That's what it comes to, and you start resenting your family, and you start resenting your station in life and all these things. So you got to examine that. You got to look at it, and you got to let it go. You got to forgive it or whatever. Just say, you know what? I'm letting go. And for me, as I was saying this stuff, I could, again, I don't have a full vivid imagination, like visualization, but when I was doing that, first of all, I could feel the physical sensation. I'm going to get into that. I could feel physically things lifting off of my avatar. Okay. Does that make sense? I am releasing myself. I could visualize cutting my ties to that resentment or those things and watching them float up, so to speak. Okay. But also that was another thing, also, this is not related to resentment and all that, but my mom's been gone for 15 years, and I don't think I've ever fully addressed, like, some of us tend to stuff our feelings down and we don't address them, why we can have anger, resentments, all these different things, and you don't acknowledge them. And I think for 15 years I've been holding on to this sadness because, I really missed her. I really miss her. I'm getting all teary, getting all in the feels right now. But yeah, that was like a big thing. Like, I had to acknowledge, like, I miss her. And sorry. Okay, hold on. So yeah, so it was addressing that there was sadness that I've been holding on to from missing her, from her being gone, her not in my life. But also, I think I've addressed this previously, you have to forgive yourself for everything. Things that you don't think are consequential. Like, forgive yourself for your choices, for choices that you deem were bad choices, or detrimental choices, or wrong choices, or big mistakes, or whatever. Just forgive yourself. And again, all these things I felt being cut off of me and floating away like that proverbial hot air balloon that Judy has said, like when you cut the sandbags, but in this case they were like the things that just would be like let go off into the ether, to float away into the ether and never come back. And that is a huge lifting off of my, like, again, like I said, those particular acts today, I felt them severing from my avatar. Okay, being lifted off and released from my avatar, not there anymore. And then even for me, what it was is that while I was sitting there, I was having all kinds of things pop up in my, that weren't things that I was thinking about, but they were just coming up. And I always see that as a way, like, your subconscious is bringing this stuff to your attention for a reason. Like, okay, like all these people that I was involved with in very insignificant ways, they were just like one-off things, and forgiving myself for making those choices and releasing the regrets and accepting myself, and that's it. And this is, again, it's not a one and done process. You have to go through it. So these things were popping up, and so I think that was important to kind of like clean that junk out a little bit, of course. But also I want to talk about something else. So like I said, before I go into that other topic, you deserve it because you deserve it, because you have worth. You have intrinsic worth because you are source. And source is the creator of everything. You can create anything you want. You can create anything you want. And as long as you do, the work is working on your frequency, getting rid of the programming that is holding you back, clearing out the gunk so that your frequency matches that thing you want. Okay? That's the work. That is what every source player that has achieved freeing themselves and has a channel has been telling you. The winner of the game, Judy, Frederick, neutral centered one, all of them. That is everything they're telling you. It is getting rid of your gunk. Okay? Your spiritual gunk. And when I first made this video earlier, and I was saying that spiritual gunk, it's not spiritual, but that subconscious gunk, it made me think of Spirited Away. That's why I'm saying spirited, because the little girl was spending all the time in that spiritual bathhouse of all these spirits and everything, and there was that one big gigantic smelly stinky one that came in, and it was oozing and all that stuff. And when she finally got it into the bath, all this stuff just kind of washed away and cleared away, and it was a completely different spirit that was left behind. Okay, it's that kind of visual interpretation of what I'm saying. So you have to know that you have worth. Not that you're worthy, just say I have worth. I hold worth. I am valuable, whatever it is. Because does the I am worthy thing work for you? Because it hasn't been working for me. That's all I'm saying. If it's not working for you, figure out a different word, figure out a different version of the word. But just hammer home that you are source. Source player is just a name Judy gave us, okay? That's it. But is that a name that your subconscious knows? Is that a name your subconscious knows? How does your subconscious quantify I am a source player? But your subconscious will quantify I am source, I am the creator of everything. You see what I'm saying? You got to use different words. Because it's important the words you use. So I know this is a long video. So anyway, so getting into all that stuff, it's just been, I know there's probably more, but I think I've covered everything here. I know this is an incredibly long video, but it's important, okay? So really, oh, I know what it was. Okay, so I would say over the last 7 to 8 months, I don't know, it might be longer, it might be a year, if I didn't mention this in another video, but I want to talk about it now. I have been presented different opportunities where there were men from my past popping back up, okay? And I bring this up because I mentioned how, I mentioned in one of my supporter only videos how I had a bad, last 2 weeks ago, I had a very bad week with 2 different separate incidents happening with men and getting into screaming matches with men. So, different men from my past have popped up in my life. So one of them in particular was the very first man that I was like involved with significantly, okay? Like that I actually had a relationship, so to speak, with, okay? And about a year ago, I learned that he passed away of like a massive heart attack. And he had passed away a year before that. So like 2 years ago, he passed away at this point. So that was like, wow. You know, and look, I'm going to say something very blunt and very honest because that's how I am. Like, that was, oh, wow, he got what he deserved. That was my feeling on that, okay? And you might have judgment about that, and that's something that you need to acknowledge if you're having a judgment by me saying that. I'm telling you how I really feel, okay? And that's how I felt. Would I kill the man? No. But do I feel like he deserved to die like that? Yes, I do, okay? Because I know how he treated me. So that was, do you understand what I'm saying? I felt the same way about my father. So sue me, okay? So I learned about that. And then somebody else popped up in my DMs on Instagram out of my past. And I was given this opportunity to say, like, you know what? Nobody on this side of this screen is happy, wants to live. No, I said, you know, nobody on this side of the phone is looking to go down memory lane with you. And I think you have a warped, distorted perception of how you treated me. And I have nothing nice or good to say about you. You were a piece of garbage. And do not ever, don't follow me, don't watch my content, don't ever contact me. In fact, you're going to be blocked. But I want you to understand exactly how I feel about you. And I want you to know exactly what you are. And I had that opportunity to say it to that person. And then another person popped up out of my past, and I said the same, somewhat similar thing to him. You know, it was all individual to each person. But I had these opportunities, and I had that opportunity a few months ago with another one who has been, I don't even know how these guys find me on social media, because like my social media names change. Somehow they find me. Well, obviously I know how they find me, okay? So another one kept reaching out to me through like YouTube and stuff. So finally, he sent me I don't even know how he found it. He sent me an email through my pet sitting, I want to say. Like, I have a contact form on my pet sitting site, and he sent me, and I was like, went into this whole thing. I want nothing to do with you. I don't want to revisit my past with you. I'm not going down memory lane. You were a bad person to me. You were a damaging person to me. You hurt me badly. You did not treat me well. I have no good memories of you. I want nothing to do with you. And I had that opportunity. And then recently, a person that I met one time, had one experience with, was one of these people 2 weeks ago that I had a screaming match with. And I didn't even realize this was the same guy. It was somebody from like 8 years ago when I first unlocked my script back in 2017, just months after I had finally unlocked my script, okay? And I met this person in 2017, had like one interaction, and he would not leave me alone. He was like one of these people that I was having at this time where these younger guys would not leave me alone. They just would not leave me alone. They would not go away. The more I tell them, no, go away, the more they would pester me. And he was somebody, it took me months to get him to leave me alone. He kept making new accounts and messaging me, all this stuff. And he was doing the same, he wasn't doing the same kind of stuff in the same way, but he was this person who just would not stop leaving me alone. He was doing these different things, and I didn't even know it was him. And it wasn't until this thing finally blew up that I realized, I put 2 and 2 together, that this is somebody from my past, and he's doing the same thing he did to me 7 years ago, 8 years ago. So it was crazy, but it took that. So anyway, my point is that all these different scenarios where these men have popped up into my life, and I've actually had these opportunities to fight back per se and tell them how I actually felt, because back then when I was, well, except for the exception of this one guy, back then I clung to these guys so hard, and I wanted so much to be accepted by them and be validated by them, and would subjugate myself to all kinds of bad behavior. You know what I'm saying? And even the one that I was involved with back during like back from 2017, not this one, another guy that I met in 2017 that I carried on from like 2017 to 2021. And I just was in such limerence for him because of what he did to make me feel that way, make me like addicted and attached to him from oxytocin, okay? And how I was able to finally break free of that. And I had blocked his number because I think like a year or year and a half ago, he popped up out of the blue trying to come back into my life. And I told him, like, I don't even know who this phone number belongs to, because that was the honest answer at that time. So I think that's what started it for me, was that he popped up out of the blue, and I was like, I don't know whose phone number this is. I don't recognize this number. And he never said nothing again. And then I looked it up and I realized it was him, and I blocked him, and I never removed the phone number because I was like, blocked. But like, that was stupid because he wasn't going to be able to contact me. Anyway, my point is that I butt dialed him of all people. So the phone was ringing and I was looking at it. I was like, what is happening right now? I didn't realize I had butt dialed him. Luckily he didn't pick up, and luckily it didn't connect, but I wrote a message like, please understand, if you got a butt dial phone from me, a phone call from me, it was butt dialed. I had no intention of calling you. I didn't know your phone number was in my phone. I want nothing to do with you. So please understand, I was not trying to contact you in any way, shape, or form. I didn't even know you were in my phone. And then I sent it, and then I blocked him again, and that was it. So I've been given all these different opportunities to fight back, so to speak. Okay? So anyway, so long. I knew it was going to be long. If you have actually taken the time to go through this entire video, thank you very much. My point is, the Matrix, no. The point is, your subconscious is always going to keep presenting you with things. It's always going to be presenting you with things. And if you keep having those things repeat again and again and again, it's because you haven't worked on it. It's because you haven't worked on it. And you got to work on it. And again, remember to align and remember to center yourself. You have a great week, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.